You mentioned this yesterday because, as we talk about it every day and we're in the middle of this thing, kids, completely different story.
Yeah, I was saying, so I have an 11-year-old daughter, and CNN had issued a warning to tell kids to stay off TikTok. My daughter's not on TikTok, but she is on YouTube Shorts, and a lot of stuff has been posted on there. So I thought I better just have some difficult conversations with her out of the gate. And as I was doing it, I realized I'm not really equipped. As parents, we muddle our way through, and we just hope to do our best and give our kids the information they need. And I remembered that during the pandemic, we would turn to Dr. Samantha Goldwater-Adler. She's a Montreal clinical psychologist. She works specifically with children on all kinds of things. And we would get her advice on how to have those tough conversations. So this seemed like a really good opportunity to bring her back on the show and get some concrete ways to approach all of this. So Dr. Samantha Goldwater-Adler joins us again now. Hi, Sam. Thanks for your time again.
My pleasure. Well, it's too bad it has to be about the situation, but still a pleasure to speak with you both.
Always, yeah. And we just appreciate you making yourself available to have these kinds of difficult conversations. So one of the things I'm going to say out of the gate is when I broached the subject at all, we got a text from someone saying, no, you can't have these conversations with an 11-year-old child. And, she's learning about the Holocaust in school right now. Let me ask you first and foremost, is it okay to have these conversations, or are we kind of biting off more than we can chew?
I think it's a fabulous question. I think on the most part, it is going to be important to just have the conversations directly. Our kids don't live in a bubble. They're still going to be exposed to the news from other sources, whether it's going to be from TikTok or other forms of social media, or from their peers, or from things that they overhear here and there. And you don't know how they're going to be processing it and what they're going to be taking in. And so it's going to be important to bring the things to their attention and to essentially to follow their lead. There's a balance in there. We also don't want to overwhelm them. So it's not like, so we want to be careful how much news that they're consuming and how much horror they're consuming. But really, the ideal is that we want to sit down and have a conversation with them and follow their lead. Don't make assumptions. Just, hey, what have you heard about what's going on with Israel and Hamas? What do you know? How do you feel? Do you have any questions? And be able to really have that open dialogue with our kids, to give them the opportunity to seek support from us and to be able to have a way of piecing together this really confusing and terrifying information.
If they don't want to know anything about it, if, and again, this is going to depend on the age of the child, obviously, but if they just say, no, I don't want to hear about it, I don't want to know about it, do you leave it be?
Mostly, yes.
Okay.
You don't want to be cramming these conversations down their throat. The point is to attune to them and to meet them where they're at and follow their lead. So if your kid says, I don't want to talk about it, I don't care, or whatever, then it's no problem. That's totally okay. Just know you can ask me questions anytime you want to, or again, you can point them to another trusted adult. So you can ask me any question. You can ask me questions anytime you want to, or that you feel ready. Or if you don't want to talk to me, that's totally fine. You can talk to your aunt or your grandparent or the neighbor, someone that you know is a safe person they could be comfortable discussing these big issues with.
Can I just ask to Natasha's point earlier on with this idea of getting off TikTok, not letting them watch those videos, and you mentioned she watches something called YouTube Shorts. She's going to see stuff there. I mean, you can't stop them from seeing it somewhere, somehow, right? They're going to see it, whether it's on TV, something is going to be there. What do you do? I mean, you can't say, you're not going to watch TV. I'm not going to let you do this. I'm not going to let you do that. What are you supposed to do?
And what do you do if they have seen something that was too upsetting for them to have seen?
Yeah, you're right, because there's a lot of stuff you won't be able to control. So on your end, what we can control, because we're not going to pull all their devices away and, lock them into a dark room or something for the duration of the war. That would be more traumatic than anything. For us, we can be mindful about how much news, how much they're consuming vicariously. So if we're having CNN or something on loop, or we're having really heated conversations with family members or friends within earshot of our kids, just be careful and mindful of that. Little people have big ears. And otherwise, for the stuff that they're going to consume apart from us, like on YouTube Shorts or TikTok, or that they hear from their friends, that's where, particularly for slightly older kids, so tweens and teens, we do want to have a couple of conversations about, or even just throw out there, hey, ask them, have you heard stuff from other people? Have you seen videos about this? What have you heard? And be able to talk to them about that. And otherwise, if they don't want to get too much into it, then just give that basic reminder that, look, there's a lot of heated opinions, and, a lot of painful and horrifying images and videos that you may come across. The internet can be a confusing place, and people can be uninformed with what they say. Take with a grain of salt. And if you don't know how to process it, or it seems like too much or confusing, don't believe everything you see. Here are some trusted news sources, or come talk to me.
That's great advice. Yeah. I think we're going to run out of time here, but what I'm wondering about that fine line also between, you want to reassure your kids, you want to make sure that they know that they're safe and that yes, it's going to be okay, and yet you don't want them to not be informed and aware of what's going on in the world. So how do you kind of navigate that fine line as a parent and for your kid as well?
You're right. And that's really tricky for us, as adults, to be able to manage that line, let alone to be able to communicate it with kids. It's fine to share facts with our kids. That's perfectly reasonable. And to answer, and again, follow their lead, answer their questions. Absolutely assure them of their safety. For younger kids, they may not understand even just the physical distances between their home in, let's say, Montreal and in Israel or in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And so you want to be able to really show them that so they understand. And otherwise, it's to be able to give them the opportunity to have some hope for the future, too. So I think of two things. I think, one, if you have a kid who's disturbed and who's really motivated and wants to do something, give them something that they can do to help. Is there a friend who's having a rough time that they could console or bring a card to? Is there a relief effort that they can help participate in, or a charity that they can help donate, or a card that they can send to somebody? And otherwise, if they're, even if they don't, they're not as inclined to help, or they're not as motivated, then it's, I'm going to fall back on that beautiful Mr. Rogers quote, which is, look for the helpers. Mm-hmm. You'll always find people who are helping. So you can point them to the things, you can talk about the more painful things that are going on, but also point them to the medics that are trying to help, to the people that are running out and trying to advocate for peace, for the diplomats that are negotiating and working overtime to, bring a peaceful resolution, so that they can at least have a more balanced and hopeful perspective.
I so value your advice, and we so appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That is Dr. Samantha Goldwater-Adler. She's a Montreal clinical psychologist. This is part of her specialty.
Yeah, this is, by the way, there's some great advice in there, right? Especially, you have a child that they're no matter the age, right? I mean, we know little kids now are on social media. When we were little, social media for the most part didn't even exist. So you were not getting really anything till you were 10, 11, 12 years old. No. Now the kids 3, 4, 5. Whether it's cartoon stuff or surfing, they may end up seeing a video like this, and it's important to know how to address it.
Yeah, how to handle it. I was thinking about how, the earmuffs or cover your eyes, but that just makes kids more curious. What is it? What am I not allowed to see?